जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and welcome back. Thank you for joining. Today we are discussing verse number 14 of chapter number 2 from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And in the previous verse, we saw that Krishna has started explaining the science of soul, or is giving the knowledge of soul, that is called as Jnana section. So Krishna explains that as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age. So here the soul is embodied, means soul is having a body. So this yellow dot indicates soul. So as the soul is passing in this body, and we can see that the body is changing, but then this dot which indicates the soul is not changing. So as the soul is experiencing this change in this particular body, what we have, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. So this death means the process where the soul leaves this body, as is shown here, and then the soul goes to another body and starts a new journey. And then Krishna explains, a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. A sober person is dhira. The word dhira is used. So dhira is not bewildered by such a change because he understands that the soul is eternal and the body is temporary. So the soul is going to get a new body. So that is the understanding of a dhira. So that's why he is not bewildered. He also sees changes in this body. So he is not bewildered by that reason that, okay, the soul is going to get a new body that way. So Arjuna may say that I understand that Bhishma and Drona are going to get a new body, but my relation with Bhishma and Drona is within this body, and my relationship with them is going to come to an end. And that is the cause of my grieving and lamentation. Once they are dead, how am I going to show love and affection to them? So how should Arjuna react to this situation? This is going to be answered to Arjuna in this today's verse, that is 2.14. So 2.14, as you see over here, there is a key on top of Bhagavad Gita. So it's one of the key verses. It's one of the very, very important verse for our practically implementing the understanding of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So this verse is very, very important. So we will study this verse very carefully. So let's go into the Sanskrit of this verse. So Krishna says in 2.14, Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitasno sukha dukkada agama paino nityas tam titikshasva bharata. So Krishna is saying, the translation is, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So it's a very critical verse and very important verse to go deep into, and then we can apply. This is a very practical verse which we can apply in our life. So Krishna begins by saying, Matra sparsastu kaunteya. So Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Kaunteya, and later on Krishna is going to address in the fourth line as Bharata. So this is identification or bodily identification of Arjuna. So it's paradoxical. Just the previous verse, Krishna is talking about bodily conception, and he is condemning bodily conceptions in verse number 2.11, 12 and 13, where Krishna is saying that the soul is eternal. But over here, Krishna is referring to Arjuna with the name that are connected with his body. Kaunteya means son of Kunti. Bharata means descendant of Bharata. So he is coming from the Bharata dynasty. So one has to see that both are great devotees, Bharata as well as Kunti. And Bharata is a great dynasty in which many devotees were also born. So by using respectable names of the people there that have those who have acted honorably. It is to actually bring the consciousness of Arjuna to the level that Arjuna, you are actually the coming from such a high dynasty. And by using respectable names, people are generally inspired to act honorably. Thus, they rise upwards in the spiritual life. To elevate people, we must, or the respect must be given to them. So, Kaunteya and Bharata are used to say that you belong to an illustrious family or a dynasty and you must act honorably. So, Krishna over here is telling Arjuna, Matra sparsastu Kaunteya. So, sparsha means contact, matra means sense object. So, tan matra, we'll hear this word. So, this is some sense objects which is material. So, basically, matra sparsa means sense object coming in contact with the material senses. So, when senses comes in touch with the sense objects, either of the two things can happen, and that is sukha dukha. So, pleasure or pain that can arise when senses comes in contact with the sense object. So, this is called as dualities. Two things can happen. Sometimes when we eat nice palatable dishes, it gives us pleasure, that is sukha. For example, the rasagulla, it feels so good that we feel very very happy. So we become happy in that situation. But when other times we eat bitter gourd, karela, it is so bitter that it gives us a very bad taste or bad experience. So basically it's a dukkha or pain or unhappiness. Another example can be given that we have air condition running in our home in the hot summer season. That gives us pleasure. And the same fan or the same air condition in the middle of the winter season, it feels cold, and that becomes reason for our dukkha. So the problem is not with the air condition or the fan or whatever objects we are trying to interact with, but it is with the perception of the feelings that I am experiencing by coming in contact with those my senses with the sense object. So Krishna is saying that when senses comes in contact with the sense object, sometimes it results into sukha and sometimes it results into dukkha. So that is the second line. Sitoshna sukha dukkha daha. So just like summer season and the winter season coming and going, similarly sukha and dukkha, both of them comes and goes. So that is the third line. Agama paino anityas. So agama means coming or something appearing. So here is the word agama means something appearing. Apaina means disappearing. And anitya means non-permanent. So appearance and disappearance of sukha and dukkha is like the appearance of happiness and distress. So, and it is non-permanent. So happiness comes and goes, it goes away. Distress also comes and it goes away. So neither of them are permanent. So what should we do about the temporary and sukha and the dukkha which is coming and going from our lives? What should we do about it? So now Krishna gives a very practical solution. He is saying Tam Titikshasva Bharata. Very very important line. He is saying Tam Titikshasva. Titikshasva means Tams. So both of them. So Tams means both of them or all of them. So what do you do with all of them? Means summer or winter season or happiness or distress. So all of them, what do you do? So you tolerate. Titikshasva means tolerate. So when we go through the hot summer season, we know for sure that the winter is going to come, and when there is winter, we are in the middle of a very cold season, you know for sure the summer is going to come. So similarly, when we are experiencing happiness, you tolerate and prepare yourself for dukkha that is going to come. And when we are going through dukkha, the pain, we tolerate that and knowing that it shall also pass away. So in happiness, get ready for distress. In distress, get ready for the happiness. Neither of them are permanent, so tolerate both of them. So tolerance is also directly proportional to our development in self-realization. And this will be a topic which will be discussed later. But tolerance actually helps us grow in spirituality. It helps us grow in spirituality. In fact, Srila Prabhupada has said in one of the lines in Krishna book, is saying that a greatness of a man can be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situation. So it's a very important statement actually. So now what should be the threshold of our tolerance? How much is the limit should I be able to tolerate? So there is no limit or no threshold to those the tolerance. As long as we are in this material world, somehow or other we must learn to tolerate. The earlier we learn to tolerate, that much we will grow spiritually. So Krishna over here is giving tolerance as the key to solve Arjuna's problem. When Bhishma and Drona leave their body, there certainly will be a lot of pain and feelings of separation. So Krishna is saying you must tolerate. Just because of this separation is going to cause you pain, and you should not run away from doing your duty. So you must do your duty, and the resultant sukha and dukkha you must tolerate. Right? So in this tolerance is actually, it's not very easy to develop. It takes a lot of time. It requires lots of contemplation and cultivation by an individual. So sometimes in life there will be situations, or situations will come in our life where we can't change anything. Just we have to be patient, and then things will go away slowly. So that is basically tolerance. So is tolerance a sign of impotence? No, it is not a sign of impotence. In today's day and age, tolerance means we actually respect each other's culture. That is people have to rights to behave or live in their own life and have their own beliefs, and we tolerate that. So is that kind of tolerance Krishna is talking about here? So no, according to Bhagavad Gita, this is not the tolerance which has been talked about over here. So what kind of tolerance has been discussed over here? So here, according to Bhagavad Gita, we allow the things to happen in our life. Things will happen and on its own course in our life, because things are happening based on our past karma. But then what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna is, but we keep our priorities intact. For example, when we are going to office and somebody honks at us or somebody cuts us on the road, so we don't get disturbed, because our aim is to go to work for getting some work done. So we don't get disturbed by somebody else's behavior, or we don't get frustrated. Because resultant, let's say if we get frustrated, then we take that frustration or carry that frustration in our work, and then things get spoiled, or things can get spoiled at work too. So we just remain focused on our going to the office. That was because we are trying to reach the office. So our focus should be just go to office, and whatever happens, we don't allow that to disturb us, that situation which has happened on the road to disturb us. So the ability to insulate ourselves from our surrounding enables us to stay protected and stay focused. So this is actually tolerance. So Krishna says at material level things to do change, like for example heat and cold, happiness and distress. Similarly, we'll see in our life experience, the old age will come. We were youth sometimes, we were child, and now we are probably old, and then similarly the death will also come. So this kind of things, they come and go, but we should not be disturbed by this, and we should remain we should be focused on whatever important things or duties which we need to do in our life, and stay focused on that. So this is actually tolerance. So tolerance is not impotence, but tolerance is actually vigilance. Vigilance to keep our energies focused on the things that are most important to us. So this is what I'm going to do, and other things are not in my focus, so I'll not focus on that. So this is what tolerance means. We tolerate what is happening around us. So tolerance is not weakness, but it means that we focus on right things and do not get distracted from the real goal of life. So this is the purpose of tolerance. So that's why this is a key. Once we are able to tolerate whatever is going on in our life, happiness, distress, hot, cold, then we will be able to focus on our actual purpose of life. The actual purpose of life is spirituality, or preparing to go back to Godhead. So this is what is our actual goal of life. So once we identify the goal, then we can tolerate, and we know for sure that these things are going to come, but our mind doesn't get disturbed by all the things that is happening around us, and we are able to focus on right things. So this is tolerance. So let's see Srila Prabhupada's purport, what he is talking about. So Prabhupada is saying, tolerate while performing duties of life. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. So this happiness and distress, they appear and they disappear. Right? Similarly, hot season appears. These are the examples. Hot weather appears or cold weather appears, and when each of them is appearing, they will also disappear. So what is the solution? The solution is tolerate without being disturbed. Now, when somebody does that, he tolerates both happiness or distress, heat or cold, or whatever things are going on in our life. Then if they are steady in both and they are focused on the right things of life, right things means performing their duties, what is the result? Which is discussed in the next verse number 15. These kind of people who are able to tolerate and not get disturbed, they are actually eligible for liberation. So that is why this is a key verse, because this is a key and it tells us what needs to be done practically. We understand that we are soul, we are not this body, but on practical level, how do we apply that? So Krishna is telling right in verse number 14, tolerate all the dualities. And the example over here is given according to Vedic injunction. One has to take bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magha. Magha is January, February. It is very cold at that time, but in spite of that, the man who abides by the religious principles do not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the month of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. So these examples are given to show us that people are focused on their duties. They are not distracted by something which is external to them. So therefore, Arjuna must perform his duties, his prescribed duties. One has to execute his duties in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight in the religious principles of the Kshatriya, and although one has to fight with some friends or relatives, one should not deviate from his prescribed duties. So this is the instruction of Krishna, that Arjuna must perform his duty. He should not be getting distracted, and those kind of challenges would come, like fighting with their own relatives and friends. But while performing the duties, you have to tolerate. If they leave this world, you have to tolerate their separation. Why one should tolerate dualities? This is very key, because when somebody tolerates, one has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge. So when you tolerate and when you perform your duty, then this knowledge is given, realization is given to that person. Because by knowledge and devotion only one can liberate himself from the clutches of Maya. So if we want to get out of the cycle of birth and death, get out of Maya, we need knowledge. How do we get knowledge? By performing our duties, by performing our prescribed duties. And while performing the prescribed duties, things are going to happen. The dualities will hit us in different ways. At that time, what should we do? we should tolerate and continue to do our prescribed duties. Now, we begin this class with, about this point that Krishna calls Arjuna as Kaunteya and Bharata. The two different names of address given to Arjuna are also very significant. To address him as Kaunteya signifies he has great blood relation from his mother's side. And to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from his father's side. So he is from the dynasty of Bharata. From both the side, he is supposed to have great heritage. A great heritage brings responsibility in the matter of perform proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting. So, because he is coming from such a good family, from such a good dynasty of devotees, and a family of Kshatriyas who has always excelled and who has performed great things in their while they were ruling. So, since he is also from the same heritage, he has to discharge his duty, and in discharging his duty, he should not, he has to tolerate while whatever things have, whatever dualities he is being faced with. So here the dualities he is faced with is his grandfather and teachers and relatives are going to die after the battle of Kurukshetra. So the solution is one has to tolerate. And when one tolerates, we already saw that the result of tolerance, that is discussed in the next verse. And here is the points which is put in the presentation form. So the next verse is also very important, and we'll discuss that in next session. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande Haribol.